Hey, it's Amber from Biceps After Babies, and I'm going to teach you how to perform the dip. So if you are at home or in a gym, but you don't have access to an actual dip station, you can use something like a bench, you can use a coffee table, you can use a staircase to perform the dip. There's a lot of variations of the dip, and I'm going to kind of walk you through some of them. We can really progress this if you're just using body weight with some things that I'm going to teach you here. We can also always put weight on this. If you're wanting to increase the challenge for you and a body weight dip isn't hard enough, we can start to put a barbell across our legs. You can also hold or place a dumbbell here to make it a little bit more challenging. With the dip, you're going to want to just place the palm of your hand on the edge of the bench, walking your feet out, and then drop your butt off of the bench. Now, the closer you have your feet to the bench, the more assistance you're going to provide the tricep, which means the easier the movement is going to be. So to make the movement as easy as possible, you just want to keep those feet really close to the bench, and then dropping your butt down, elbows track backwards, and then driving up. Now, what I see a lot of times, especially as people are starting to learn this movement, is they start to bring the weight, the workout from the tricep into the shoulder. And that can look like a rounding of the shoulders so that they come down, their shoulders come to their ears, and then they push up through the shoulders instead of activating the tricep. So a really great cue for that is to simply make sure you roll your shoulders up, back, and down so that your chest is really tall and lifted before you go back into that tricep dip. Notice how my shoulders are away from my ears when I do that, and the weight then comes and goes back into the triceps, which is where we want it. If that's too easy for you, awesome, we can take the next step and we can just start to move the feet away from the bench. So the further that I walk my feet away from the bench, the more challenging this movement becomes because more of the weight is placed in the tricep. If you want to make this really hard, you can elevate your feet up on a box. So you're essentially taking away all of the support that the ground gives you. And if that's too easy for you, then we can progress into adding a plate, adding a dumbbell, adding a barbell here to increase the challenge for those for the tricep dip. So again, making sure if you are doing the tricep dip, making sure that your butt does not come away from the bench. That's probably another very common mistake that I see people make, is that especially when they start to walk their legs out, that they start coming here and see how far away my butt is from the bench, and I'm not really targeting the triceps very well. So make sure that butt drops back. The butt should be like almost up against the bench so that when you're dropping down, I stay really close to the bench and I push up. You do not need to go all the way to the ground. We don't need to like collapse into the shoulders. It's actually really bad for your shoulder joint, so don't do that. But coming down to where you're about 90 degrees with the elbow and pushing back up. And that is the dip.